Today, the parents of missing University of Virginia student Hannah Graham made an emotional plea for their daughter's safe return.
Did you see Hannah? Did anybody see Hannah? Did you see Hannah? Did you see Hannah? Who saw Hannah? Somebody did. This is every parent's worst nightmare. I'm certain that everybody in this room and those watching knows that what happened to Hannah could happen to their child.
Because this is a critical piece of a puzzle where there's lots of pieces missing.
Police believe he's the man in the white shirt seen walking with Graham, captured on a surveillance camera tracking the college student minutes before she disappeared.
Hannah Elizabeth Graham was the daughter of John and Sue Graham and the sister of James Graham. They lived in the Stratford Landing area of Fairfax County, Virginia after relocating from England. Hannah was a happy, bright girl who loved life. She also loved music and was athletic. 18-year-old Hannah, on the night of September 12, 2014, attended 2 parties. She went with a friend, but while they were in the second party, Hannah said she was feeling unwell and wanted to leave. Hannah was very intoxicated. A friend offered her a ride home, but she declined and said she could walk by herself. At around 1:20 a.m., Hannah texted a friend that she was lost and was trying to find her way to another party, but no one heard from her after this. Hannah was supposed to meet with friends the following day, but she never showed up. Her friends contacted her parents, who reported her missing just after 4 p.m.
News at noon, I'm Cheryl Miller. And we begin with breaking news this hour from Charlottesville. Police there are heading up the search for a missing University of Virginia student. Hannah Elizabeth Graham, seen here, was last heard from on Saturday when she texted friends around 1 o'clock in the morning. She is 18 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall, with a slim build, blue eyes, light brown hair, and freckles. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Hannah Graham is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 434-977-4000.
Police were able to obtain CCTV footage and piece together Hannah's whereabouts. At 12:45 a.m., she was seen walking alone past a pub called McGrady's. Ten minutes later, she was spotted again running past a gas station. At 1:06 a.m., Hannah was spotted again at Sal's Pizza on East Main Street, but something quite odd was spotted. A man who was originally on the opposite side of the mall crossed the road and began following Hannah. Witnesses said that this man put his hand around Hannah. They also described him as hostile. He then took her to the bar temple and bought her a drink. Later, the same man was seen standing next to an orange car, and Hannah can be heard saying, "I'm not getting into that car with you." And at 1:20 a.m., she sent that text saying she was lost. The man was then declared a person of interest. The man in the CCTV turned out to be a 32-year-old nursing assistant and a part-time taxi driver called Mathew Jr. The same night Hannah went missing, Jesse was in different bars behaving inappropriately while approaching various women. Police searched his home and took various items to be examined. Hundreds of volunteers were helping police search for her. On 22nd September, Jesse Mathew's apartment was searched again. Several items and clothing were taken away for examination. Police had gathered enough to charge Jesse with abduction with intent to defile. But by this time, Jesse had withdrawn all his money and fled. He was found a few days later about 1,300 miles away. He was arrested that day.
Jesse Mathew Jr.?
Yeah.
Mr. Mathew, my name is Judge Henry. You have 2 charges this morning. You have got a fugitive from justice warrant out of Virginia for abduction of a person with intent to defile. You have got a Galveston County charge of false information to a peace officer. Your bond is denied on the fugitive from justice warrant. Okay, you're not entitled to a court-appointed attorney on the fugitive from justice warrant except to fight extradition.
And sir, I got a question for you.
Okay?
Like, they took all my clothes and they got me sleeping on a hard thing. I don't feel like I should be able to have some kind of clothes.
You appear to me to be dressed in a jumpsuit.
Well, once I get back, they're going to take my jumpsuit off and tell me I have to take my jumpsuit off. And
Medical has to clear you out of medical. That's a requirement of medical. So once medical sees you and clears you, and they move you to another cell, then they'll give you the jumpsuit back.
is this for Virginia?
Yes.
So what is the Virginia one again?
The Virginia warrant is a fugitive from justice warrant. The underlying charge is abduction of a person with intent to defile.
Right there.
Now I was going to have you sign 2 times saying that you're not requesting a court-appointed attorney this morning.
What? I'm sorry. If I sign it?
I'm going to ask you to sign either way, either requesting a court-appointed attorney or declining consideration for a court-appointed attorney.
Oh, okay.
If you request one, the only thing that attorney can do for you is challenge the validity of the warrant and fight your extradition back to Virginia.
On 29th September, a forensic link was made. That is when the detective realized that they might be dealing with a serial attacker. Flashback to 2009. 20-year-old Morgan Dana Harrington, born in Charlottesville, Virginia. She was bright and intelligent. She loved art and music and had plans of becoming a teacher. She was in the university, but she made sure to see her parents once in a week and call them every day. On October 17, 2009, Morgan and 3 of her friends drove in Morgan's car to the John Paul Jones Arena at the University of Virginia. She had gone to watch one of her favorite bands, Metallica. During the warm-up act, Morgan told her friends she was going to the bathroom. 20 minutes later, at 8:48 p.m., Metallica was about to start and her friends called her to alert her and tell her to hurry. Morgan said that she had been locked out of the arena because of its no re-entry policy. How and why Morgan ended up being outside of the arena remains unknown. Heartbroken, she told her friends she would find her way back home and they did not need to worry. She had no money and no car keys as she had left it all with her friends inside. Just after 9 p.m., she was spotted in the University Hall West parking lot. Several witnesses saw her at around 9:30 p.m. walking on Copley Street Bridge with her thumb sticking out, trying to get a lift. After this, there were no other reported sightings of her. The following day, Morgan was supposed to be having her weekly visit with her parents, Dan and Jill, but she never showed up. Dan and Jill contacted her friends that she was with that night, but they were not with her and did not know where she was.
Harrington are sleepless as they search for their daughter, Morgan.
Before she left here, she said, "Dad, you're going to be home tomorrow afternoon because when I get back, I need some help preparing for a math exam."
I have had many goodbyes. I don't take goodbyes lightly. I always walk her to the car, and she gets in the car, and as she's pulling out, she's always flashing those fingers at me, 2, 4, 1.
In fact, that was the last thing she said to me.
It was the last thing she said to me when she left, because that's just our little, your little code. I love you too much forever and once more than forever.
Early that morning at around 7 a.m., Morgan's purse was found. It contained her student ID, driver's license, debit card, and hip flask. Her cell phone with its battery removed was also recovered a short walk away. Her purse was found where taxi drivers wait to pick up fares during large events. 3 weeks later, after Morgan was last seen, a student found a bloody t-shirt discarded in some bushes at the front of his apartment. The student called the police. On January 26, 2010, a farmer was passing through his 700 acres of land when he saw some remains. He first thought it was animal remains, but he soon realized that everyone's fears would come to be. There was a human skull, and the farmer said that he knew immediately that that was the missing girl. That was Morgan. It was proven that those remains indeed belonged to Morgan. The exact cause and time of death could not be determined due to the decomposition. Autopsy listed her cause of death as homicidal violence of undetermined origin. Her bones were shattered, and her parents believe that she may have suffered immensely before being killed. She endured a fracture on her upper left arm, 2 rib fractures, and a skull fracture. Morgan was also sexually assaulted. DNA taken from her shirt was matched to another cold case in 2005. In 2005, a lady identified as RG reported to the police that she had been sexually assaulted and beaten. RG was 26 and lived in Fairfax. She was walking back home from a local grocery store on 24th September 2005 when she was grabbed from behind and carried to a patch of grass. Her head was then slammed and she was punched in the face. The attacker then began to choke her and sexually assault her. She cried for help, but the attacker said that he would kill her if she screamed again. She said that he told her to let him do what he wanted to do, and then he would let her go. After the assault, she completed her rape test kit. RG had DNA under her fingernails, but it did not match anyone's. RG then flew back home to India and the case went cold. But now, the police had a match to all 3 cases. They had their guy. A pair of shots from Jesse's apartment had Hannah's DNA on them. A DNA was also found in his car. But where was Hannah's body?
I'm Chief Longo, the Charlottesville Police Department. It was some 35 days ago, some 5 weeks, since 18-year-old University of Virginia student Hannah Graham disappeared from our downtown pedestrian mall. Thousands of hours have been spent by literally hundreds of law enforcement and civilian volunteers in an effort to find Hannah. We think perhaps today proved their worth. Sometime before noon today, a search team from the Chesterfield County Sheriff's Department was searching an abandoned property along Old Lynchburg Road in southern Albemarle County when they discovered what appears to be human remains.
Hannah was discovered just 5 miles away from where Morgan had been discovered. Jesse first pled not guilty, but changed his plea to guilty to avoid the death penalty. He received 4 lifetimes without the possibility of parole.
Prosecutors say that Jesse Mathew Jr. will plead guilty to the murders of Graham and Harrington to avoid the death penalty. Prosecutors said they plan to seek the death penalty if Mathew was convicted in the Graham's case.
It was noted that Jesse was linked to many cases, not only RG, Morgan, and Hannah's case. Hannah's father said, "Hannah's enduring gift to all of us is that she enabled the wicked man to be apprehended and convicted. She did change the world, but at a terrible price."
The British backpacker met her killer on a Tinder date in December 2018. This CCTV the last time the 21-year-old was seen in public. She was later strangled to death on or hours before her birthday and her body buried in woods.
She died terrified and alone in a room with you. You have ripped a hole in my heart, one that will never be repaired.
Gillian Mullane confronted her daughter's killer as family members spoke by video link to Auckland High Court.
It is tough to carry on life as normal following the destruction of our family.